Ontario, and today I'm here in beautiful Palos Verdes, California, and we were actually expecting rain today, believe it or not, and as you can see, it's not raining. So I just felt inspired to get out of the house and do something I've never ever done before. I mean, you can see I even got dressed up for the occasion, right? And for those of you that don't know me, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a full-time real estate investor, and I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm really happy that I can recently call myself an author. And but what I really wanted to share with you today was that being a real estate investor and an author wasn't really what I had planned for myself when I graduated high school. I mean, I was going to be in the music business, and I was fortunate enough to experience a good 13, 14 years, and a couple of those years were pretty successful. But like most things in most industries, I mean, new business models come along, new technology comes along, upsizing, downsizing, whatever it is. But I found myself basically, or what I was up to in the music business, rendered completely obsolete, and I had to start over. I mean, I had to start life completely over. I found myself at 33, 34 years old without a dime in my pocket, not knowing what to do, what direction to go in, because I knew entertainment was no longer an option for me. And I mean, I even found myself bagging groceries for about 6 months. And so I know how that can be, and I know there's a lot of you out there that might be in a similar situation, or you know somebody who is, and it can be a very scary thing. So that's what I want to talk about today was fear, okay? It's a really powerful emotion, and it stops us in almost everything we do. I mean, wherever we are and where we want to get and we're not there, it's something in there that we're scared of that's preventing us from getting there. So I just want to share an exercise with you that's going to expose fear for what it is, okay? This exercise was shared to me about a year ago. And what it does is it's going to expose the false evidence that's stopping you. That's actually an acronym for fear, and I don't know if it's true or if someone just made it up, but I like it because it stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So I'm going to take you through this exercise real quick. So grab a pen. You're going to need a piece of paper. Now turn that paper horizontally. Okay, so for the purpose of this video, what I want to use is just an example I use with my real estate investing students. They typically have a fear over purchasing that first investment property, and most specifically, submitting that very first offer to purchase. So for this exercise, I'm going to use that example, but keep in mind that this exercise will work for anything, okay? So you're going to divide your paper into 4 columns. I want you to title column number 1, Worst Case Scenario. Worst Case Scenario. So in this column, I have my students call on their imagination and write down every disastrous result that they can possibly think of making an offer to purchase an investment property. And I even have the fear increased a little bit. I have them submit a $10,000 earnest money deposit in the scenario. So the first answer that always finds its way to column 1 is typically the offer gets rejected. Okay, the offer gets rejected. Invariably, though, the second answer that I always get is the offer gets accepted, which is really, really funny. It demonstrates how my students and maybe you and whatever that it is that you aspire to, that some of the things that stop you, you know, are comical, you know they're silly, right? And I've got to share with you that whether that fear causes you to cry or if that fear causes you to laugh, if it stops you, it's fear all the same, okay? And it's worthy of your attention, and if there's somewhere where you want to get, you got to get that out of your way. Okay, so back to the exercise. All right, so from here, I proceed to humor my students and switch the scenario to what's the worst case scenario if your offer was accepted, okay? And I'll get basic responses like the roof is bad, the foundation is bad, the electricity is bad, the plumbing is bad, maybe the financing falls through and it results in losing their earnest money deposit, or maybe the property doesn't sell or a tenant is nowhere to be found, whatever it may be. Then I push them a bit and I really encourage them to employ their imaginations and draw out the worst case scenarios. And I start to get answers like the property is in a flood zone and it gets washed away the day after escrow closes, or it's built on a toxic waste dump, or the neighbor is a made member of organized crime, or maybe it burns down, or a tornado blows it down, space aliens abduct the property for research, etc., whatever it is. It gets really, really silly by the time we're done with column 1. The point is, there's a giant list of what can go wrong, and that's the list we understandably fear, and it prevents us from taking action. So on to column 2, title it Recovery Time. In this column, you're going to write the time it would take for you to recover if the worst case scenario actually happened. So meaning, how long would it take you to get back to the situation you were in just before that initial action? In our example, that would be the moment just before submitting the offer. So based on a middle-of-the-road property, most people say 3 to 6 months. Depending on their financial situation, some might say a year or two. It took a long time for them to save that $10,000. And others will say, you know, it's just a couple days of emotional stress and they would be ready to reload. Whatever the recovery time would be for you, I'm confident it wouldn't be that long. Okay, so title column 3, Risk Management. Now in this column, what you're going to do is you're going to write down everything you could have done to minimize the chance of the worst case scenario ever happening. To stay with our example, a property inspection could have prevented a great deal, right? Putting a second or third financing option in place would have limited a whole lot of risk. Negotiating a different earnest money deposit so there was less risk at losing it. Conducting a comprehensive research in both the sales and the rental markets, including multiple contingencies in the contract, asking for second and third opinions from people with more experience than you. Surrounding yourself with a community is a really great way to eliminate fear. And maybe running a police report and buying insurance. That would have managed the vast majority of atrocities. Now, I'm not sure what could have been done about the space aliens, but there's a lot that could be done that would virtually eliminate the risk in purchasing an investment property. I mean, almost everything in column 3, almost everything here can be satisfied by education. Now, title column number 4, best case scenario. Best case scenario. Now, it should be obvious, but in this column, you're going to write the best case scenario. So using our real estate example, you get the offer accepted, right? That's your best case scenario. You would open escrow, you would fund the deal, you'd take ownership, you would execute the exit strategy, and then you'd earn the desired profit. And perhaps the deal ends up even better than expected, resulting in a bigger profit. Now, if you were to implement all of the risk management steps in column 3, what would be more likely, the worst case scenario or the best case scenario? I mean, without a doubt, the best case scenario. Unfortunately, it's everything in the worst case scenario column that stops us from taking action. It's the false evidence that stops us over and over and over. And it doesn't matter what it is, it stops us. To further illustrate how silly our fears can be, you'll find that in column 1 in the worst case scenario, death is almost never a possibility. I mean, whatever you're up to, you're not going to die, right? But as Americans, we'll get in the car every single day. Did you realize that the number 5 killer in our country are accidents? Accidents, majority of those being car accidents. But we'll get behind the wheel without a second thought, and we'll drive to work, and we'll drive to a friend's house, or maybe we'll drive to grandma's house on the weekend, and we'll put our kids in the back even. And we don't even give it a second thought. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? And we're afraid to approach our boss for a raise, or we're afraid to approach the opposite sex, or we're afraid to speak in public, or you're afraid to start that new business you always thought of. Why would we do that? Well, because driving a car, we've learned to manage our risk, right? We've learned to manage our risk. The answer is really, really easy. The worst case scenario in driving a car is obviously death, right? Death is final. There is no recovery time. But does that stop us? No, because we've implemented everything that we could in column 3 in our false evidence exercise. We keep both hands on the steering wheel, we keep our eyes on the road, we obey the speed limit, we stop at the red light, we go at the green light, we change the oil, we rotate the tires, we maintain the brakes, whatever it is. We've repeated the process hundreds, if not thousands of times. Okay, so imagine what your life would look like if fear no longer existed. I mean, if you really exposed all the fear in your life for what it is, the false evidence appearing real. I mean, imagine what it would be like to invest in real estate, right? The most lucrative industry in the world, and experience all the time freedom and the money freedom that it provides. Or whatever it is that you're up to, whatever it is that you aspire to. I mean, this will work for anything. This exercise is responsible for eliminating my fear of public speaking, of eliminating my fear of writing a book, of raising private money. I mean, talking to wealthy people was a fear of mine at one point. And it's obviously cured my fear of putting a video on the internet. So whatever it is that's stopping you, this exercise works wonders, and it's my gift to you. And really the best way to learn it is to share it, or is to teach it. A very wise person shared with me that the best way to learn anything is to actually teach it. So go ahead and share this and teach it, and just imagine what the world would look like if there were no fear. What would be possible? Okay? So my name is Matt Theriault. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for being here. Take care.